Hi there, my name is Amy, and if you're watching this video, chances are that you just signed up for Honeybook and you got my free onboarding template that you're just digging into. I wanted to record a quick video just walking you through how to edit this in Honeybook, because if you're new to Honeybook, the interface can be a little overwhelming at first. That's why I created this free template for you and why I want to run through some of the basics of editing this smart file in Honeybook's new smart file editor. So let's get started. Now, this template is 11 pages. It is actually only 10 pages of template. The first page is a little bit of a how-to page and an introduction. I'm not going to read it to you because you can read it yourself. But I did want to note that this section is very important, and I wouldn't recommend deleting it right away because I have some resources here for you, including some Canva templates that I used in the smart file. I want to be totally open and honest about which parts I did not create in Honeybook, and that would include like these little flowers I pulled from Canva and a few other things throughout the template. And then if you have questions, there are a number of options for you down in the right corner. This blue button down here is a great way to get answers. There are help documents, and if you can't find the answer there, the Honeybook support team is usually available to chat with you. If you'd like me to set up your smart files for you, you can also click to schedule a call with me, and I do share tips and tricks on one of my Instagram accounts. I hope that this template helps ease the process for you, whether you're switching from another CRM to Honeybook or this is your first CRM experience. I hope that this is a smooth transition for you and that you're able to get started using it as soon as possible. Let's dig into this template. First, I want to note that the template is divided into, or the builder, the smart file structure is divided by pages. So you can see over here, there are pages. There's also a little timeline up here that shows the pages, and you can change the name of those pages. And from there, it is split into blocks. So you can see here these sections. If you've ever used Flowdesk or especially Squarespace, this builder and this interface is very similar to Squarespace websites or even like a Wix website. The builder is very similar to that. So if it looks familiar, that might be why. You can see there's a plus sign here, and you can add a block, and then within the block there are various little sections. That is how it is structured. So let's look at our pages here. There's an introduction page that you can customize. I do have a note on the about this template section, but I did create a make-believe company, so that's why you're seeing Elena Ray Consulting. It is a made-up brand that I created for my YouTube channel, and that is the one that I used for this template. This template is loosely based on my onboarding process that I do with my clients. I am a brand photographer, and I do use Honeybook, obviously, and this is a similar process to what I use for my client onboarding. And you don't have to use all of it. You can use parts of it, just pages of it, depending on what works for your business. And you can go through these yourself. So I'll get started with the editing. I'm going to go to the first page. In order to edit a block, you can double click to edit text. When you select the text, it will show you some options here for the font size, the colors. The first thing you're probably going to want to do, honestly, is to click Customize Theme up here and edit your themes. You can upload custom fonts. I'm not going to go into that in this video. There is, I believe, documentation in the help files, and I also will have YouTube videos about this on my main channel that you can check out. But you can edit your overall theme there, and then highlight and then just start typing. And then this is a separate little text block. If you want to add an additional block, you can click the plus sign here to add text, an image, questionnaire questions, a video. Now you're not uploading a video, you're actually embedding a video. So this is where I can embed the YouTube video like you see on the front page. You don't see it yet, obviously, because I haven't finished creating this video, but when I finish the video, it will be embedded on that first page there. You can add dividers, which is just adding a little blank space. And you can also add a line if you want to. I have chosen not to for this template. But those are some options there. And then if you click on the little section, you will see two icons here. There is a 4-way arrow and a trash can. Obviously, trash can deletes. The 4-way arrow you can drag and it will highlight blue where it's putting the block. You can move it between blocks or just move it to a different part in the same block. I'm just going to leave that alone, and I'm going to delete the divider. And actually, I need to edit this. I'm going to change the color of this to the red, but you can change it back to black. And I've decided not to do that, so I'll change it back to black. You could also hit Command Z. You can use standard shortcuts in this builder. We're going to go on to the next page here. Clicking services. You can update this button up at the top if you want to change that. Oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. If you click the dot or click the next in the top, you can change the text on the button, and it does affect both the top and the bottom buttons, as it notes here. You can have a custom button for each page of your template. I've just chosen to use next throughout my template, but you can get creative with that if you want to. Here's the services page. Obviously, there's some things you're going to want to enter here. You can change this up by however you offer your services. You've got some service selections, options. Basically, once you click on something, it's going to show you what your options are. And notice that there are two tabs here, a design column and a setting, or design tab and a settings tab, so that you can make those changes. You can add sub items here. And there's so many options. I go into this in more depth on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to do that here, but there are some more options so that you can set up your services the way that you want to. The next natural progression, once they select a service, so I have this set up so that once they have to select one of these services in order to continue to the contract. And then they have to sign the contract before they can continue to the invoice and so on and so forth, so that they're going through a specific process. And I have this set up. You're going to want to copy and paste your contract into this area here. But I have this set up to automatically pull both your selections from the services page. Once they click select, it'll load here. And then also the payment schedule, which you can update in the invoice. And then these are automatic signature blocks that are added when you create this, and those are a way for your client to e-sign and for you to e-sign. Next, we have the invoice. Again, the service selections will be automatically itemized here once they sign the contract, and you can adjust the payment schedule here. So if you split it into more than 2 payments, that is where you adjust all of that information. Let's move on to the payment. There's not a whole lot you can do here. You can add your company info if you want. I'm not going to because it adds my personal information. But that is available. You can add that. And there's not as much customization on this screen because it is just a payment screen. They don't want a ton of extra stuff on this page. So really that's the only thing you can edit. And yay, they are booked if they've made it to this point. Again, this is just how I have it set up. You can adjust this as needed. But once they're booked, I have it set up to send a workbook. Or the next page in the Smart File is the workbook. The beauty of this is that you send them one file and they can proceed through with no major stopping points, and it really helps streamline the process. So yay, you're booked. And then the next few pages are a workbook. So the workbook is a combination of a client guide and a client questionnaire. And in my business, I've combined these two things to help reduce overwhelm and to guide my clients through the process in a way that's a little more streamlined. So I have sections of information, and then below that section of information are the relevant questions. Some of them are required, some of them are not. You can set them either way. And I've just created some workbook sections for you to fill out. You can obviously change it to just a client guide or just a questionnaire, delete it altogether. It's totally up to you. There is some information in here. These are just text blocks that you can edit. These are photos. I do want to cover really quick. Let's talk about photos. You can replace the photo with something from your image library. You can also crop that photo, and I want to show you that here. You can see that I very creatively cropped this photo. This is just a stock image from Canva. I cropped it in a circle, which is really handy. There's a lot of different cropping options, and your cropping can really change how it looks. I'm going to go with the circles. Oops, there we go. And we'll apply that change. And then if you click these dots here, you can adjust it. Now these are columns, and I did not talk about this yet. So when you click on the block, you'll see there are columns here. There's an option for 1, 2, or 3 columns. And this can really help vary the look and style of your smart file. You can see here I have columns with a very drastic width difference between them. If I wanted to, I could adjust this and then make the photo bigger, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring this back to the way it was. Awesome. These are just information sections. And then down here are your questionnaire sections. And this section of questions for my business is related to these sections of info above here. And there are different ways to format these sections. If you click the plus, you can add a block. Click, there's a number of options here, but if you click layouts, this is similar to Flowdesk where they have some automatic options for you. And you can see those over here. You can also reuse a content block from a different template. So you can add your questions, you can change the placeholder text, you can change these questions. One of the biggest things you're going to want to do is go through and decide if the question is required or not. You can also change the type of question. So I could change this to long text or a drop down. I'm going to keep it on short text. You also see a date picker feature here. This is very handy if you want them to also choose the date of their session or put in their wedding date or something to change the project date. You can also link response to a field, which is a much more custom feature. And that is something that is in the help docs. There is a little extra piece of information here when you hover over that as well. All right, and so there's different questions. What I was saying is you want to, if you need them to answer the question, make sure you mark this as required. I don't have any of these set as required, but you will definitely want to go through and click that slider if that's important to you. The other thing that will do is it will not allow them to proceed to the next page until they have answered the question, which is kind of nice if you want to keep them going in a specific direction or a specific sequence. Here's page 2, similar but different questions down at the bottom. Again, you can rearrange these, adjust them. If you want to put this block on the page before, you just go down here and you can either copy or cut the block. And then when you go down here, there's an option to paste clipboard, and that will paste. You can also, you can paste a block, but that's one way to paste a block is to paste the clipboard. All right, we're moving really fast through this, but I just wanted to give you the basics without taking up too much of your time. I also included a workbook mood board approval section. Now, not every business is going to need this, but I did include 3 different types of approvals in case one of those works for your business type. One of them is just a simple image. So this could be a screenshot of a Pinterest board. You could put a link to a Pinterest board, whatever you wanted. You could even put a video in here, and then they can just approve the board, and you can make this question required or not, totally up to you, and they can type comments below. The second type is a little bit more refined if you want to add 6 specific images for a very curated board, and this is a pre-made layout that Honeybook has in here for Smart Files to add separate images. And the third option is the timeline or copy approval. So if you have a wedding day timeline or you're a copywriter and you have copy that they need to approve, you can paste that information in here and they can either approve or make comments about that copy that you've put there, and this can help move your project along. Now, with these mood board approvals, this might be something that's further along in the process after they've submitted the rest of their workbook, and I'm fully aware that that's the case. I'm just including it in here so that you can pull it into other templates. And again, on this page, I have linked right here a tutorial for pulling pages from one smart file to another, and that could be really helpful down the line. So I included that link there and I wanted to highlight it because of that. So while I'm aware that you might not need mood board approvals in this sequence, I wanted to have the page available to you, so I included it all in the same template. So I hope that's helpful for you. And finally, a you did it page. I haven't quite finished editing this, but this page is going to be just a, yay, you completed it. Here are your next steps. What I did want to show you is you can, for the button, you can customize the button for the last page, and it has some different options. So whatever page is the last page, it gives you this option. You can redirect client to a URL. For me, I redirect clients to my Honeybook scheduler so that they can schedule a video call, and that video call allows them to schedule a video call with me to go over their shoot plan for their brand photo session. And I have it set out, like I require it to be set out like a week or so to give me time to get that ready. But that's one way you can use it. There are a number of different ways you can redirect them to a different landing page, or just turn off that feature altogether. I'm going to put the word finish here so that they can click that. And once they click the finish button, I'm probably going to put a disclaimer in there so they know that once they click finish, they cannot edit the smart file. At the time of this recording, once they submit, in fact, I'm going to change this to submit. Once they click submit, they cannot go back and edit their answers. And that's really important. That is something that I'm going to put a little disclaimer in here, but you may want to write your own custom disclaimer for your clients so that they know that before they click submit. That can help eliminate some frustration for your clients down the line. I hope this video was helpful. Again, there are some resources for you on the first page. If you need them, I would recommend making a copy of this template so that you can delete pages but still have the pages in the original template. So just doing a copy of that template should be helpful there. Best of luck with your Honeybook endeavors. If you start to feel overwhelmed, I do take on a limited number of template customizations if you need help getting things up and running. So reach out to me about that. But I wish you the best of luck. I hope Honeybook's up and running for you really quickly, and then this really helps you streamline and up-level your client experience.